Good evening, dear participants. Thanks for joining us this evening and welcome to Kazakhstan American Corners program. My name is Makhabbat and I am from Almaty. Today's meeting is organized in cooperation with National Alumni Network. And let me introduce you our guest for today, Makhabbat Boranbay. She is an alumni of CUZ 18, Nazarbayev University graduate with Bachelor in Society, Media and Digital Literacy Trainer. She also runs her Telegram channel with the hashtag Записи Seniora about educational and career opportunities for youth and young professionals in Kazakhstan and abroad. As for today's critical thinking workshop, Makhabbat will explore why critical thinking is much needed skills nowadays and how you can use it for yourself. She will also share some techniques that everyone can use in their daily lives. So Makhabbat, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you,
before starting, sorry for interrupting, let me ask all the participants to mute yourself. It will help us to have better internet connection. If you have any question, feel free to use the feature in the chat box or type your questions. I'll be happy to read them for Makhabbat, and I hope you'll find this webinar useful.
Thank you. So let me share PowerPoint. You can tell me if you see that all right. Okay. You can type if you cannot hear me well, or you can unmute yourself for some time, but please do not use the voice when you're just talking to someone or sipping your cup of tea, so that we can hear each other very well. So as Makhabbat said, yes, I'm a SUSI alumna. I also can see that the person who introduced me to media and digital literacy is listening to today's workshop and participating. Thank you, Gunnar, for being here, and I hope I can continue sharing this knowledge with others. So first of all, before we start, let me ask you some questions. So I want to have some brain teasers for you. What is pronounced like a single letter, written with 3 letters, and most animals have 2 of them? Can you please tell me what it is? So just will make our brain work. And I will look in the chat. Black. Do most animals have only 2 of them though? And it's not pronounced like a single letter. This is supposed to be quick, so if you could just type or say it, that would be great. Ear, Okay, I can see the right answer. It's I, right? Yes, John T, thanks. I and I. So this is the right answer. We're moving forward. This is another question. So 2 men play 5 games of chess. Each man wins the same number of games and there are no ties. So what is your answer? How come this could happen? You have only 1 minute to answer. Thank you. So any ideas? Ties is when no one wins. I think you know that. So I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes and then I'm gonna tell you the answer if you cannot provide me with one, but I hope you can do that. Okay, so if there is no answer, then the simple answer is these 2 men are not playing with each other. So I know it's pretty like dumb, but that's the brain teaser. Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. So next one. What is the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of every end, and the end of every race? There is some simple logic. Just type it in or say it out loud if you are brave enough. It's supposed to be fun. I hope you guys are having fun. The beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of every end. Yes, Rizana, good job. So it's E, right? Next, and this is the last one. That was right, yes, Rizana. So what is lighter than a feather but cannot be lifted? This is a tricky question, to be honest. My little brother was thinking about it like for a long time, and he gave me the answer. Air, not exactly, it's something that we can see, but air could be the one, yeah. Any other ideas? Sun, is it lighter than a feather though? Breath, you can see, oh yeah, you can see your breath, but it's in winter. Good guesses, but it's not the answer. Eight. Can you lift it? Okay. Okay, so those are the the good answers, and we're gonna explore why are they good. But here, the simple answer was bubble. So if you know some bubbles, if you blow a bubble, like children play with it, you cannot lift it because if you touch it, it's gonna blow. But that was the answer. But your answers are also right, and this is why critical thinking is important and why like today's topic is critical thinking. So this is something that I want to start with. It's just human nature, something that we hear a lot, but this is the argument that you can no longer use after today's workshop, just because everything that's just explained as like it's just human nature is questionable. So who knows what is human nature? How do we know that? Is it something that we cannot change? Things change, humans change. I think you also saw yourself changing, right, from your early years to nowadays. So if anyone gives you this in the argument, just don't believe it. There are many ways to argue with that, and today we're going to explore how to do that. So let's get going. But before we start, I want to ask you a question. So I'm okay with you unmuting yourself, by the way, because I want to talk. I want this workshop to be about talking and reciprocating. So what do you think critical thinking is, and what do you think are the benefits of critical thinking? I'm gonna look for chat, but also please feel free to unmute yourself and answer. And don't be shy.
I would say that one of the benefits would be better decision making.
Mm-hmm. Great. What is critical thinking in a nutshell for you? Anyone can answer, by the way. So thank you. What it is to think critically? Why are we here today? Like, is there someone who doesn't know what critical thinking is? Because we're going to talk about it. So there is no shame in not knowing what it is. Any other ideas? It helps thinking out of the box. Good. Why it is bad to be in the box? Logical task, okay. For me, it's having doubt and asking questions. Good. Good. What else? Looking for facts in a specific subject and making right decisions. This is a very good answer. Okay, so yeah, guys, you're right. Critical thinking is the ability of a human being to logically weigh the arguments and make a decision. These decisions can be made for your own knowledge, for your own life, or this can be made to in other circumstances. For example, when you are doing a test and then you need to decide on something. This is where you use. I hope you use critical thinking in that. So. But because I want to keep it very short, I want to keep it very practical. Let me just go through it. What are the benefits of critical thinking? So I'm going to do this. So it makes you curious about the outer and the inner world. By inner world, I mean yourselves. So how you think about yourself, what you think about like who you are and where you belong. It helps your creativity because you think of many other ways that you can make decisions, many other ways that problems can be solved, and it really helps to be creative in that. The third thing is it trains your problem solving skills, as John T said. I don't know your real name, so it really helps to solve problems. And a lot of things in life are problems, right? They don't have to be bad, but they are problems that need to be solved. It makes you more independent for sure. So you want to be independent, you know. This is where we can see from the early years. So once a person can start talking, they ask like, why the sky is blue? Why I can drink Coke all the time? And when you give people answers, and if these answers are very good and not like just because I told you to do so, so they make you more independent, and being independent is good. And the last thing is, it helps your mind stay younger and healthy longer, because the more you think, the more you like try to think out about all the ways that you can do, like the things that you can do in life, the project that you can accomplish, the business projects that you can do. It all makes your mind work, and the more you stimulate your mind, the healthier it becomes and the younger it will stay. So I think that most of us want some longevity in our life, so this is good. The next is critical thinking develops also some skills, because today's event is dedicated to the World Youth Skills Day. There are skills that are needed in the workforce. If you are applying for a job, if you are in a job and you want to change it, there are several things that critical thinking can help you to put on your resume or CV, and talk about it. So what do I think of them, of these points that we just covered as a skill, right? So it's lifelong learning. It's a trend right now. Everyone is thinking about learning many things, changing their like occupation and stuff. So lifelong learning is something that critical thinking helps you to do. It's creativity, as I said before. It's independence, or there's other like sexy word about it. People call it self-starter. You are independent and you are not afraid to start a project, to start, I don't know, like maybe a political fund, like anything else. And this is a self-starter. You don't need anyone else to be like, you need to do that, Makhabbat. Do you think this is a good idea? You can do that yourself. You're like, oh yeah, I can do that. So it's agility, because you change, your thinking changes, and it's media literacy, why we gathered today. So critical thinking helps you to develop that. And actually critical thinking is part of media literacy. So the key components of thinking critically are the questions and questioning. It's at the core of critical thinking, no matter what you do, no matter what you see. Even like coming today, right? You were thinking, I guess, like, should I be on this Zoom call? How many hours is it gonna last? The answer is 1 hour, don't worry. So why should I trust Makhabbat for being here? Like, why is she here? So questions are good. I want you to question, even when I'm talking right now, and if you don't agree with me, please do question me, because this is something that helps you. This is something that helps me. And this is something that helps everyone. And the tool is asking the right questions. There are right questions. There is a way to ask right questions. And those usually are connected to what, how, and why you do that. But it's not just simple, like you see something, you see a pillow, I don't know, and you're like, what? It's not like that. Usually it's when you see something, when you see a problem, you ask yourself different questions. When you see a post in social media, you ask yourself, how is it that it makes me react? How is it that it's important? Why should I follow this person? What it is that this person is going to bring to me? And those are the important questions that we ask ourselves. So right now I want to ask like a question, like typical logical reasoning that you have, including this, like what, how, and why. It can be anything. It's like, why are you talking in English, or anything else. Please type it in the chat, asking the question the way you would ask it on a normal basis when it comes to thinking, when it comes to daily life, or when it comes to quarantine, like why are we sitting at home? I want you to ask, every one of you, I want you to ask one question and type it in the chat. It can be long, it can be short. Okay, still waiting. No one? Anything. You can ask anything. When is the lockdown situation end? This is a good question. Good. Why is there a lockdown, right? because we all know why it is there, because it's pandemics. Anyone else? Any other questions that you can ask or that just pop out in your head and you're like, oh yeah, I can ask that? Why do I think I need to know more about critical thinking? Good. Why am I not eating sunscreen? Oh, sunscreen. You cannot eat sunscreen. Ice cream when it's sunny outside. How can we solve the epidemiological problems in our country? This is a good one. Yeah. Should we solve it, right? How do we solve it? Why do we solve it? Okay, good. Those are the great questions. Why am I doing that? Why am I asking you? Because you cannot learn critical thinking just by listening to me. You need to do things in your mind. You need to do things on paper, on your laptops, in your phones, whenever you apply this critical thinking in your life. So right now we're going to practice again, right? It's not being lazy, it's me making you work and sweat. I want you to write a sentence about one problem in the sphere, I forgot of, there should be of, in the sphere of education. So you can do that for yourselves, like in your notebooks, in your phones, anything, or you can put it in the chat. And then I'll tell you what we're going to do with it. Any problem in the sphere of education. If you have written one, can you just put plus in the chat so that I can see that and then I can see when we can move forward? Any problem? Okay, great, I can see. Okay, good. Yeah, students study just for the sake of marks, the lack of practical task. Anything else? If you are shy or if you're not sure, just put the plus and I can see that. How can we solve corruption in the universities? This is a good question. Incorrect way of teaching. Okay, too many paperworks where students are hungry to the knowledge while we're doing paperwork. Who is teaching them then? Yes. Yeah, without practice, just like listening to people talk about their lives or like their experience. I hope it's not lives. I've encountered teachers who did that. Okay, anything else? Government still doesn't know how to embed technological people in schools and universities. Yeah, because I think we've seen all of that during the quarantine, that we were at home. And then if you have little brothers or sisters, if you are a parent, grandparent, I think you've seen that, like doing stuff in WhatsApp or doing stuff one time and just thinking about the ways how it could be done, but not the ways how it accommodates others. Okay, teachers don't keep up with the modern world. Interesting. And there aren't enough proper certificated teachers and don't teach critical thinking. Good. People don't respect teachers' work, old methods of teaching that exist for 1,000 years. Good, great. I love your answers. All of them are great. And I think that I agree with most of them. So now we're going to do something with the sentences that you've written. It is asking questions. I'm gonna move this one a little bit further. So I want you to explain what the cause of the problem is. Again, I forgot off. I'm gonna edit it right now. So then I want to connect it with why. Like, why is this relevant? Why should you and others be concerned about this problem now? Why is it important to you personally? Here in the question number 2 and 3, you don't have to answer to every single question if you don't want to, right? It's gonna take some time and I understand that. But if you want to, you can do that. If you're really quick, you can do that. But if you just pick up one question, if you pick one question and you answer to that, the one that like speaks to you is like, yes, this is something that I'm gonna answer. I want you to pick this. And the third is solve it with how. Like, how do you know? How might your perspective be different from that of others? So we talked about government, we talked about teachers, right? How can they be thinking about the situation? Like, what's their point of view? And how can you solve this problem? I want you to do that right now. Again, you can do it in the chat if you want to. Like, I'm gonna give each and every one of you like 3 minutes to do that. And then after that, you can speak it out loud. I want you to practice English for sure. You didn't come here to listen to me only. So what are we doing right now? We're answering these questions. looking at the problems that you've written. If you didn't make up a problem, you can take someone else's. I hope no one minds that. If you mind that, right, do not use my sentence and this is gonna be okay. So I want you to do that. I want you to have this 3 minutes, and after that, we're going to read it out loud. I can read it for you if you're shy, or you can talk about it yourself. But there's gonna be a time limit of 1 minute. So if you are going to talk, prepare your speech a little bit. So time now is 5:23. You have time till 5:26. And if you have any questions, just ask me that. You could do that in the chat, or you can do that like just unmuting yourselves. Oops. If you didn't understand the task, you can ask me. Okay, I want you to answer to these questions like solid in one paragraph so that I don't lose it, right? So you copy your sentence, or you write it once again, and you write answer to that. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, you have 1 minute left. If you are already ready, you can just use the function of raising your hand. It's in the participants. You can always do that. And then we're going to start with you, first of all, once we finish in like 30 seconds or so. Okay, it's 5:26. Are you ready to answer? Okay, good. I see one answer from Janar. So, Janar, do you want to read it yourself, or should I read it? Could you please read? Okay. So Zana writes, higher education is not accessible to everyone equally because of uneven economic situation, some class stratification. Okay, there is some class stratification. Inequality causes many other issues. How to solve it? It would be great to encourage opening funds for people of different age. Good. This is a solid paragraph. Great one. And I agree with higher education system. Being a privileged student myself, I understand what it is to study in a different university and have this inequality. So anyone else ready? I do encourage you to speak English, so if you could just unmute yourselves and talk, that would be super. Thank you, Zanar. Yeah, sure. Johnny, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Yes, the problem that I see here is paperwork, as I already replied to your questions, and I think the cause behind it is bureaucracy, which is coming from our, not ancient, just from our, like, all the time, from our predecessors. And nowadays, as a student, I'm nowadays working, and I see so many paperworks even at work. Not just apart from at work, I also faced this problem at university when I was studying. And the question is like, everyone must have like has to have question. Shall we work on just paper or practically? And there is question how I might know about it. As a victim of two places where I studied and where I am working.
A victim is a good word.
Yes. So too many paperworks. And in fact, they are like chaining our hands.
So could you please provide an example? Like, how do you know? Like, provide an example. Did you see that? Did you see your like professors complain about it? What's the form that you saw this happen like practically?
Okay, I got you. I got your point. When I was studying at university, I listened to my teachers who were claiming about their work, about just not their actual work, about their paperwork.
Okay.
That they are drowned in, and even at work, I'm facing it as an assistant of a lawyer.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for your answer, and I think we're gonna give the floor to the second person. So, Azad, yes, you can speak.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to, I want to start with a problem. I want to ask you the problem, governments still do not know how to embed technological pins in school and in universities. So first of all, I want to start what its causes. I think we need to first of all upgrade our information systems. By information systems, I mean internet. After that, make it available in school, and then think about how to embed them in schools and universities. The second, why should we and others be concerned about this problem now? Because we need to have educated people in our countries in this competitive world. How to solve this problem? I think we just have to, first of all, government have to invest some much money to information systems and to this IT and kind of all of that. And after that, we're gonna solve this problem. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I muted myself. I was like, yeah, thank you. But I think you didn't hear that. So, okay, good. Another good example. And we have Maxime, but Maxime, you need to make your answer a little bit longer. And then, I'm sorry for the noise, by the way. So I'm gonna read Rizana's, or Rizana, do you want to read it yourself? Rizana, can you hear me? Could hear it, okay. So the main destination of students is only getting marks, because is that the mark in the educational system is the mere evidence of what you have learned. Okay, so can you connect it with why? Why is this happening? No need for white mass, how parents should spend more time with children before elementary school. Oh, you're answering to yours, okay. Can anyone help maybe Rizana answer the question, number 2? So like, and this is gonna be our last example because we're short of time. So like, why is this relevant? Why is getting marks, just getting only marks is bad? Like, why do we care about it? You can talk or you can type it. I can hear someone typing, so I'm looking forward to reading your answers. And then there is a third, like how. If anyone can think of how and write about that, that would be great. gonna fix some technical issue for now. Okay. A little bit quicker would be great. So just like 1 to 2 minutes maximum. And if you have a how, if anyone has how, you can just talk it out or you can just type it again. I hope I'm not pressuring you too much. Okay. Okay, so Rizana wrote something else. So because the main purpose of the education sphere is to teach students so they get knowledge. Good, good. Why is it important? You need to get knowledge. You don't need to get marks. And then if anyone has a how, if you don't, we can just move forward. Okay, I'm gonna count like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, sorry, we need to keep moving forward. So we'll think about how, or you can think it for yourself. So what did I want to do with this like question, the problem? So whenever you see the problem, I want you to think about it, like think of the cause and not only think of it, like explain it. It's always good when you explain it. I can say that climate change is bad, but like, what if I don't know what its cause is and like why, like and explain it, this is not going to be helpful. The second is always connecting it with why. Whenever someone does that to you, whenever you do that to someone else, if someone asks you like, why is this relevant? Why should you and others be concerned? You should be your own like advocate in that. You should be thinking about that, because when you have your argument, when you have strong argument, you usually have answers to what the cause is, you have the answer to why, and you have the answer to how. And this way you can be very, I think I forgot the word. People can trust you. Okay, let me put it another way. People can trust you in that, and people can see that you mean actually, and you care about what you're talking, and you care about what you're talking about, and you also know what it is that interests you. Okay, the next thing, I'm sorry, I'm gonna mute myself for a couple of seconds. Whatever, I'm sorry, the guests came to home, so if you hear them, I'm very sorry about that. So decision making, I promised in the preview to this workshop to teach you how to make a decision and how critical thinkers make their decision. So here you can see, and this is taken from a TED educational platform. These are the 5 things that you need to do. First of all is formulate your question. You need to know what your question is. It's not that like you need to come to some place with a question already, but for example, if you're reading a news article, you need to form a question out of that. For example, I'm sorry to use this example, by the way, like the cases of coronavirus in Kazakhstan are increasing, and you need to formulate your question like, why are the cases increasing in Kazakhstan? This is one of the questions that you can do. Or like, is coronavirus becoming a very big threat to healthcare system? This is not the question. So depending on the question that you're gonna make, it's gonna formulate the other like points and the other things that you're gonna gather to look at the problem in a coherent and consistent way. The second is, and I hope you can like move your neck, it's gather your information. You need to gather other resources. You need to look for different resources. If you look only like one Thinking News article, you cannot do that. So you need to look for many other things and compare this knowledge. The third is apply the information. You need to apply it in a way of, for example, making logical reasoning in your head, like cause and correlation. Could it be the cause and then the result, or is it something that someone wants to manipulate you and want you to believe in it? And then this is how you apply the information. You apply the information by using this information in your own mind to formulate your argument. The fourth is consider the implications. What are the effects? Are they really like dangerous, these effects? what are the other results that could be there? Are there any other threats to that? So these are the implications, and this is the point 4. And the last one is my favorite one. Explore other points of view. Why do you need to do that? Because your own point of view is very limited. I know we all want to think that we are right, but in most cases we aren't, and we need to think of others' approach to that. For example, I'm a sociologist. I study sociology, and the way I look at coronavirus is different from a person who studied biology. This person thinks about like the immune system of a person, while I'm thinking about the way the society has inequalities in reaching to people who have this health issues, right? For someone who contracted coronavirus, a biologist might think, okay, so the only thing that I need to do is to make this person healthy again as soon as possible. For me, the question is, how is this person gonna be affected by these changes in their health status, in other things, so that it really implies some changes in their way of living in the society that they're living in. So, and this is very important to look at others' points of view, and especially when we're talking about education, the same thing is here. So you talk about professors, you talk about paperwork, and we need to look at it in a different way, and then talk to other people, ask their opinion. And in this case, when you ask their opinion, when you explore your main thing to do, your lesson there is to listen, and your ability to listen to others, not that proving your point. Why? Because when you want to explore other points of view, you can learn very little if you are just thinking of yourself as the only truth holder at the moment. So you really need to listen to others and see what they have to say, and really listen to them without trying to bust their the things that they are believing in, even if those people are someone who is against, I don't know, vaccination. I think we all saw that in the social media and the news articles. A lot of news are about anti-vaxxers. So also manipulation. Manipulation is everywhere. Manipulation is something ubiquitous, and then something that you need to protect yourself with, but only if you want to protect yourself with. Why am I saying that there is a need to choose which thing you want to be manipulated with? It's because we all have our own desires, we all have our own needs, and we need to fulfill them. Not all of them need to be fulfilled, but some of them really want to fulfill them. So sometimes we want to be manipulated into that. Sometimes we really want to talk about it. We want to listen to it and do this kind of thinking. So it's very important to realize that there is manipulation. You need to know that it is manipulation, and you just look at it and you're like, okay, at this point, I'm okay with being manipulated this way. So there are really key things that you need to learn about manipulation and how it works. So first of all, your pressure for time. Time is very important in all sorts of manipulations, because it really is something that makes you do something really quick. It calls for action. You need to repost things. Have you reposted things to your stories recently? You can just put plus or something. They could be connected to new law that we have in healthcare system. It can be connected to anti-vaxxers again. It can be connected to coronavirus effects. This is the thing that cures you from coronavirus. So if you need to repost the things, or in Russian there is a saying максимальный repost. So it's manipulation. It's manipulation because you're not thinking. The only thing that people want you to do is just react to it. This is quick, I need to react very quickly. So again, quickly replying to the message or buying something as soon as possible. How does this happen? If you are following educational bloggers or any other bloggers that are offering their discounts, only 10 people are gonna get this discount. So be quick, buy this, buy that, apply to this, apply to that. This is manipulation. And this is true. Sometimes, for example, I could use that in promoting this workshop. I'd be like, Only 20 spaces available, hurry up to register. This is manipulation. I'm pushing you for time. I want you to like get stressed and really make a decision at this moment because it benefits me in this case. The second is you respond to the content emotionally. It provokes some feelings in you. It might be guilt, it might be pity. Those are used like very often. So the actors on the stage, and I'm not saying that everyone is bad, I'm just saying that some people use it for their own benefit. It's elderly people, it's children, it's pets in urgent, urgent need of help and or money. It's about donations. It's also manipulation. Again, I'm coming back to the thing that like you choose like how you're going to be manipulated. And in this case, for example, if you want to donate some money for cats or for dogs, you can do that for sure. But here, some people are like they start their fake accounts and they're like, okay, this like person is dying. We need to gather some money. And you're like, oh my God, like my mom could be in that situation. I don't want her to be like that. I really want to help. And we have this like culture of helping each other. So in this case, what you need to do is you need to go back to this account. You need to look at like the documentation that they provide. Do they talk about how they spend this money? How do they interact with people who use this money, like with people who donate some money? So you really need to look for that because emotions are very tricky. Triggers, some of them are called triggers. That's how marketing works, and marketing is a good thing. It's beneficial for businesses, but in some cases, if it means taking advantage of some other people, it's really not a good one. So I really want you to be careful in that. When you read something and you want to cry or something, ask yourself, like, I need to be more rational in that. I need to look for other things in there. The third is noticing use of emotionally colored words. I touched on it in the first one a bit. So it's like the best psychologist in the city, the most horrible case that happened to children in I don't know, Kostanay, or only 10 people are gonna get that. One in a lifetime opportunity for you to become successful, or anything else. So this emotionally colored words, they talk to your needs. They talk to some things that you have. They talk to something that you want to achieve. And again, here you need to look like, is this person really someone that I should trust? Does this person have necessary qualification? Is it really one in a lifetime opportunity that I need to pay for? Are there any other things that I can do? I can look it up. You can always Google things, right? You can think for other things. Or for example, I want you to write the answer in the chat. Have you ever received emails about you inheriting some money from a person living abroad? Like, has it ever occurred to you that people are like, okay, dear blah, 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 for example, dear Lizana, I'm writing to say that your relative has passed away and then you are inheriting some money and the inheritance fund amount is for $10,000. Please respond to this quickly. Have you received any kind of messages that are similar to this one that I'm talking about? And you can do that in the chat and I'm gonna look there. Oops. Okay, I can see something. Yes, yeah. Someone's dog is barking. Yeah, that's true as well. So, okay, so this is also manipulation, right? I think that most of us want some money, and if you are a student, you really want some money and you don't mind people being like, here is your money. But again, you need to think about it. Have I ever had relatives living abroad? Do I really know this person? Why would this person be giving me that? Look at the email. The emails usually talk. The emails talk to you. If it's a crazy person, like gmail.com or 123EAS456, it's a scam. It's phishing. So don't fall for that. Even if you think that money would help you and it wouldn't hurt. And the last one is, there is no room for other point of view. It's either black or white with no in between. In most cases, there is no like true, false, right or wrong answer. It's a spectrum. And the spectrum depends on what you believe in, what you want to believe in, the argumentation that's given. So if you see that there is only one point of view, then mainly you're manipulated. So for example, something that hurt me a lot is that a lot of my friends, like recently, is that a lot of my friends reposted the things from the new codex, like about healthcare in Kazakhstan, and they were saying things that they didn't really check just because some bloggers talked about that. They talked about vaccination, they talked about sexual education, and they're like, they're going to do that from like when you're 1 years old and stuff. But in some cases, you really need to ask, like, maybe if it's your friend, just ask them, like, have you read this document? Can you show me where you saw that? Could we maybe discuss this? Like, why you think that? Why do you think that it's bad? Why do you think that it's completely horrible and horrendous? So always do that. Always call for communication. Always call for community, like effective communication. Not like you are wrong or you're just BSing me. No, you need to ask. You need to ask things in a polite way, because if you were on the other side, you would also want people to treat you respectfully, even if they're manipulating you. You want to be always be logical, you want to be rational for the most part of your life, and you want to be like, okay, so maybe we can discuss this. So this is something that I really wanted to focus on, just because when we have people who think the other way or whose opinion is different, we always fall for this position where we're just like, we want to protect ourselves and we are just like barking. Someone was talking about dog barking and we become this barking dog, like, no, I don't think that, you're stupid, you don't believe me, you should believe me. But sometimes what we need is just talking. So pay attention to that. So summing up what we've done today and what I wanted to talk to you about is that, so a critical thinker knows that making mistakes is fine and everyone makes mistakes. It's okay. It's fundamental to a critical thinker to be like, okay, so I made a mistake. I want to apologize for it. I want to own this mistake. I want to talk about it. The second is acknowledging you're wrong doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean that you're a total failure if you acknowledge that you were wrong. For example, I had typos in this presentation like 3 times, and I said that. I didn't say like, oh my God, this like autocorrect did something. No, it's just like, okay, yes, I messed up. That was my mistake. If I do that, the same thing with like talking to my friends when I'm sure of something, and then I go back and I'm like, oh no, you're right. Okay, so I agree with you. So although we want to protect ourselves, acknowledging our mistakes doesn't make us like failure as a person. So I hope you also know that, and I hope you continue, like you bring that into your discussions and into your like communication with friends. And the last one is you need to question everything, especially in a culture of like, I don't know about how your like parents raised you. In my case, it was like, I said that because it's true, and you couldn't do anything with it. You were just like, okay, but, and you have your own opinion, but you were like, okay, no one's going to listen to me. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and be like, sure. And then you do your own thing or something. So you need to question everything, and you need to be able to learn effective communication. So this is what I want to leave you with. This is what I want you to go like to your friends, to your families, and talk about, because it's really important for me. It's the way that I learned like critical thinking. And I also prepared something else for you, which is a bonus. I call it a bonus. Why? Because I think that if you're interested, you probably want to hear something else, you want to learn some more. So I'll share a link to the presentation once we finish, or like maybe I'll do it now. So the resources for further learning for you, those are in Russian. So there is a podcast called Kritmysh. It's superb. It's cool. It talks about many things. I encourage you to listen to that. There is a list of online courses. There is an element of thought. The third one is really great. I loved it. It's like a spectrum that you can look at to make decisions, to think about. If you don't know what kind of questions to ask, you can go there. There is a great article on 7 things that will make you a better critical thinker. There is podcast Belka and Strelka, like why do you need critical thinking? It's very good. I was listening to it with my mom, and my mom was like, I never thought about it. And Bloom's taxonomy of critical thinking skills. If you're more like nerdy and want some academic stuff, this is gonna help you. And this is gonna, I think, be something that soothes your nerdy soul. So I hope you enjoy that. And this is it from me. Now it's time for questions and for me to answer. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer that. What about books? Okay, speaking with mistakes, fine. If you are critical thinking, you have to speak clearly and grammatically. Yeah, I agree. The books that you can read, honestly, I never read books on critical thinking because philosophy is about critical thinking. Any books on philosophy are critical thinking, but if you really want some recommendations like about like this and that book, Kritmish does that. You can do that in Kritmish. Thank you very much. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna share a link with you. If you have any questions, please ask. If you have any comments, if you didn't agree with me, the floor is yours. I'm happy to listen to you. Copy and paste. This is the link to the presentation if you want to use it for a further reference, and the resources are there as well.
Thank you, Makhabbat. So by organizing today's session with the help of Makhabbat, we wanted to join the global celebration to mark the World Youth Skills Day, as Makhabbat already mentioned. So thanks, Makhabbat, for sharing this useful information, and thank you for your time. We hope you guys have learned many useful things and will apply them in practice. Now we have 5 minutes left. Please feel free to ask your questions, unmute yourself, or type your questions in the chat box, because we will be done in 5 minutes.
Okay, Danella says Design вашей жизни. It's a book about critical thinking, if anyone is curious. No question. Thank you very much. Thank you for your lecture. Thank you for your coolest Telegram channel. Thank you. I was also promoting it in my Telegram channel because I love my Telegram channel. It's my kind of job that I do for free. So you are welcome to follow me there too. Thank you very much. Many thanks. Thank you very much, Gunnar. Thank you for presentation. Critical Thinking, Consider the Verdict. This is the book by Bruce N. Good. Thank you for your recommendation. Thank you. Could you share the recording of this presentation? I think the question is for Kambat, and I hope that she can answer that.
Sure, yeah. We will probably post it on our YouTube channel, Kazakhstan American Corners. I'm going to type it, and you can also follow us.
Good. Okay, so thank you very much for those who are my friends, for those who follow me, for like followers and who came here to listen. I'm super glad that you did that, but also like a big thank you to those who didn't know me and just trusted my knowledge in there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that was a good hour, a solid hour of like thinking and putting some food for thought in your minds and in the things that you're gonna do and the things that you're gonna accomplish. Did critical thinking help in SUSI program? Well, this is a good question. Yeah, it did. When I was filling out the application and answering to essay questions, it helped a lot because again, I needed to state the problem. I needed to connect it to like why it's important. I needed to connect like how can I solve it? How can I contribute to like women's leadership and its development in Kazakhstan? So yeah, I did. Too pity that this year no one could go because of the collapse of the healthcare like systems and also pandemics. Okay, great, thank you. So you'll be, I think you'll be able to find this on the channel. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope everyone will have a nice evening. Stay safe and take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye, thank you.